Besides, who would dare to compete with Wu's family at this time? For this medicine, Ragnar, father and son, knelt on the ground to Charlie. If he bids at this time, he still hates him? Ragnar looked at this rejuvenating pill, smelling the fresh medicinal fragrance from the rejuvenating pill, and said with excitement, "Mr. Wade, as long as you are willing to sell it, 1 billion in cash will be paid immediately." Charlie smiled slightly. "Don't worry, before we talk about rejuvenating pill, there is one more thing that we haven't talked about clearly." "Also?" Ragnar frowned and asked, "What's the matter?" Charlie's expression gradually became gloomy, and he asked in a cold voice, "I and Tianqi are also considered to be year-end friends. You father and son smashed Tianqi's the clinic. How is this incident?" When these words came out, Old Song could not help but frown. His face was gloomy, and he blurted out, "Ragnar, the genius Dr. Tianqi is an expert in Orus Hill, who has saved the lives of unknown number of people, and he and the old master are also good friends. Why did you smash his hospital?" When Ragnar heard this, his head was as big as a fight. Unexpectedly, Tianqi and Charlie would still have a happy relationship? This is really tricky. He didn't know this relationship before. He just thought it was nothing more than a well-known old Chinese doctor. Since he couldn't beat him, he just smashed his shop and gave him a little pressure to force him to agree to see his young son. But he didn't expect to cause trouble here. However, he had to be eager to get the rejuvenate. At this time, his eyes rolled and he could only point to Roger beside him, and said indignantly, "Hey. This is my son, who is impulsive and ill-considered. I have no choice but to teach my son." Roger's facial expression twitched. He really didn't expect that he would instantly become his backer. Although he was very angry, he did not dare to show his dissatisfaction. Since he let him carry this pot, he can only grit his teeth. So, he lowered his head and said, "I'm sorry, it was my impulse to smash the shop where the genius doctor was. Please forgive me, Mr. Wade." Ragnar also hurriedly said to the side, "Mr. Wade can rest assured that all losses of the genius doctor will be compensated 10 times. Charlie said lightly, "There are some things that can't be solved by losing money." Ragnar hurriedly asked, "How does Mr. Wade want to solve it?" "Me?" Charlie looked at him and said with a smile, "My solution is very simple." With that, Charlie deliberately slowed down the rhythm a bit, and looked at Roger. With eyes facing each other, Roger was a little flustered by the fierce air in Charlie's eyes. While he was still speculating about what kind of solution Charlie would propose, Charlie suddenly shot, grabbed his right wrist, and then gently twisted. Just hearing a click, Roger's right wrist was broken directly by Charlie. "What?" Roger screamed in pain, his complexion immediately turned red, then turned pale again. "Ah, broken. My hand is broken. Charlie, you are looking for death." Charlie directly threw away his severed hand and said coldly, "Since you smashed Tianqi's shop, then I will abolish your hand. This is called organ exchange." Roger yelled in pain and shouted, "Dad, this rubbish broke my hand. I want to kill him. I want him to die." Ragnar was also dumbfounded. He didn't expect that Charlie would directly act on his son, and the shot was so harsh that he would abolish one of his son's hands when he came up. However, at this moment, he was still looking forward to that rejuvenation pill in his heart. For him now, if Charlie is willing to sell him the rejuvenation pill and his son has his hand broken, he can still bear it. After he has taken the rejuvenation pill, he will find Charlie to settle the account. So, with a black face, he opened his mouth and said, "Mr. Wade, my son has already paid the price for smashing the genius doctor's clinic. Now you can sell me the rejuvenating pills, right?" Rejuvenation pill. Charlie took the rejuvenation pill out of the small wooden box and placed it in front of him several times. At this time, Ragnar looked at this rejuvenation pill. His eyes were about to shine. However, he did not expect that Charlie suddenly smiled faintly at this time, and said jokingly, "Compared to your billions, I still think it's better to eat." After speaking, he stretched out his hand and put the rejuvenating pill in his mouth, chewed it twice, and swallowed it directly.